Now, following months of negotiations, government has made a final wage offer to public sector unions. The package includes a pensionable salary increase of 7.5%. Some unions, including Saftu, have rejected it, saying government has been mischievous in how it's presenting this offer. So let's get some clarity now. Saftu spokesperson Trevor Shaku joins us via our video link this morning. Trevor, it's great to see you. What do you mean? Is the 7.5% not 7.5%?
No, it is not 7.5%. In fact, in the final offer, they've tabled the PSCBC to the unions which were negotiating whilst others were on strike. What it shows there is that they are actually offering a new 3.3%, and the 4.2% is merely a carryover of the cash gratuity which was offered in 2021, and is the only difference now is that they are converting that cash gratuity into a pensionable income. So it will no longer just be a cash which is given to workers to be able to uplift some of their buying power, but it will be factored into pensions. So if you have given workers in the past few years, or 2 years rather, if you have given them such an amount of money to be able to use and have factored it as part of their income, why would you, when you offer or make a new offer, and you are merely just factoring again that money, you are merely just recycling that money into those particular incomes and say that this is a new offer? So we reject the classification and categorization that this is a 7.5%. What is actually stipulated in that offer is that the new offer, the new real offer here is 3.3%, which is way below projected inflation for this coming year.
Yeah, and it's even way below the previous offer from government, which was rejected by public service unions. But it's now emerged that the majority of public service unions, around 53%, will go ahead and accept this offer.
And that is what actually disappointed us, because we think that the unions should have coordinated in a uniform and a unified manner to first and foremost ensure that they recoup what workers would have lost in the past 3 years. Because if you recall, in the financial year of 2020-2021, workers did not receive anything because government decided to renege out of its obligation to pay the last leg of the collective agreement of 2018. They also, in 2021, then refused to increase the wages of workers by above inflation increases. And what they did was to offer a cash gratuity plus 1.5%, which was actually a pay progression. And in 2022-2023, they unilaterally implemented a 3%, which again was way below the inflation, which averaged 6.9 last year. And this year, we're still going to see a spike in inflation. We've seen in February that inflation is actually returning to 7%. And we might as well expect that it would go beyond 7%. And the averages which the South African Reserve Bank has given in terms of headline inflation may even be projected higher in the coming MPC announcement on the 30th of March. So what here is happening is that the divisions amongst the public service unions are going to cost workers, the public servants in particular, very dearly, because this, if you aggregate it in the past 3 years, workers in the public service have actually lost in real terms 11.2% to their incomes, to their buying power. And because they've lost in real terms 11.2%, it means that the buying power of the wages of those workers has declined in real terms, and as a result cannot buy what they used to buy, cannot afford what they used to afford more than 3 years ago.
Yeah,
so
the cost of living
is a serious problem.
Yeah, the cost of living crisis continuing as well. So Trevor, what are the next steps here? Is there another strike that is on the cards? What is Saftu's next step?
Saftu is playing a role of encouraging a unity to be forged by these workers' unions in the public service to ensure that because if they continue in the manner in which they are going, and the majority unions would obviously, if they sign tomorrow, because what government has said and what is reported in the media is that these unions, which comprise 53.9% of the vote weight in the Public Service Coordinating Bargaining Council, if they sign that thing, of course, it would also diminish any chances of fighting into the future, especially for this coming financial year. So we're appealing on the public service workers and the public service unions to ensure that they forge the unity, to ensure that they fight to recoup what workers would have lost, so that at least what workers get for this financial year will be a dear increase, which would factor in and take into account the rising cost of living, and given the fact that the workers have lost in real terms wages over the past 3 years.
Trevor Shaku is the spokesperson for the South African Federation of Trade Unions. Trevor, thanks very much indeed for joining us this morning.